Yo, Amateur Lawyer here, like, sub, blah blah blah. Here we are with another stadiums ranking video. This time we're looking at the Big 12. And just like all my other videos, I'll be including a memorable game I remember being played at that stadium. Also, like always, stadiums are like women. You might like a BBL demon, and I might like something a little slim and natural. Just like how you may like a huge stadium, and I may be more into something a little more intimate. I'm Amateur Lawyer and that's my TED Talk. Let's get into it. Okay, so first up in our Big 12 stadium rankings video, which I guess unfortunately would also make this stadium last in our Big 12 stadium rankings, we have Memorial Stadium, home of the Kansas Jayhawks. Holding around 47,000, this stadium is as simple as it gets in the Big 12. In a conference with some of the best stadiums in all of college football, Jayhawk Field is just kind of average. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just nothing crazy. With the horseshoe design and an extra deck of seats on each side of the field, it does its job for a program like Kansas. And there are rumors of a renovation coming soon. Oh yeah, I also really like the rock chalk Jayhawk on the exterior of the stadium. This is random, but does anybody remember that 30 for 30? There's no place like home when some random dude went looking for the rules of basketball so he could bring it back to Kansas? I do, and now I guess you do too. For the best game I've seen played here, that would have to be last year when Kansas upset number 6 Oklahoma.
Improved Oklahoma defense. 4th down and 6 for Jason Bean. Game on the line. It's there! Lawrence Arnold in the clear! Minutes ago, 2 timeouts for Oklahoma. Kansas with Neal.
Coming in 15th place, we have FBC Mortgage Stadium, home of the UCF Knights. And yes, they are in the Big 12, get used to it. Also known as the Bounce House, this stadium really gets jumping, especially when it's at max capacity at 45,000. I've been to this stadium in person a couple years ago, and it's pretty cool. Some people might find the placement of this stadium a little low, but trust me, it's more so because the other Big 12 stadiums are just that good. I do like the small bowl of seat that wraps around the entire stadium. It reminds me of a smaller version of the Big House. Also, the brick exterior is a nice touch. I don't remember seeing it when I visited the campus. Is that new? Let me know in the comments if you're from UCF. For the best game I've seen here, we obviously have to go back to UCF's 100% legit national championship season when they faced in-state rival USF in a banger.
Knotted up with 1:41 to go. Mike Hughes with a head of steam. And Mike Hughes, the kicker to beat. Do you believe it? Knights take the lead on a Hughes touchdown.
So for this next one, I was really going back and forth between two stadiums in the same state, but it ultimately came down to the exterior when deciding which stadium to put ahead of the other. Both are incredibly fire, but next up we have another new member of the Big 12 Conference, Arizona Stadium, home of the Arizona Wildcats, holding around 51,000, which surprised me because the stadium looks much bigger. I like the way that one side of the field has a massive wall of seats and then the other has like 3 separate decks. It looks really cool, and having uneven stands can sometimes look really good like it does here. And when did Arizona have such an awesome exterior? Personally, I'm a fan of the castle design with the big Arizona logo. It looks great. For the best game I've seen here, we have to go to the year they took over college football in 2014, when they took down their in-state rival Arizona State.
Strong was in motion. Kelly, backside pressure, it's on the ground. Picked up by Arizona, all the way to the house.
Speaking of Arizona State, next up we have Mountain America Stadium, home of the Arizona State Sun Devils, holding around 53,000. The more I look at this stadium, the more it grows on me. The lower bowl with the 2 upper decks at the 50-yard line is a chef's kiss. Pause. But we have to talk about how this stadium was built between 2 small mountains. Can you tell? If you couldn't, the mountain right behind the field should give you an idea. I think my favorite part of this venue would have to be the exterior and that huge walkway with those steps up to the stadium and the mountain in the background. Man, I would really like to catch a game here. For the best game I've seen here, that was in 2019 when the current Redskins quarterback would upset the Oregon Ducks and ruin their playoff chances.
Going to come from behind for a month. Now with the lead, they're getting a little wobbly. But a downfield shot to Ayuk. A foot race. They won't get him. Wow.
Coming in at our number 12 spot, we have our 4th straight stadium that just joined the Big 12 Conference, Nippert Stadium, home of the Cincinnati Bearcats. Holding right around 40,000, this stadium is a lot smaller than our past couple of stadiums, but that's because there really isn't much room to add extra seating as the stadium is literally part of the campus. And gosh, it makes the venue so unique and cool. Nippert Stadium also has to have one of the best horseshoe designs in all of college football. I'm a big fan of their horseshoe with the extra decks above, and the expanded box suites are a nice touch. For the best game I've seen here, let's go back to 2021 when the Bearcats would beat Houston to secure their spot in the college football playoffs.
Total yards in this game. Jerome Ford, big seam. Jerome Ford is living and tearing it up. Touchdown, Cincinnati.
Next up, we have one of the newer stadiums in the Big 12, TDECU Stadium, home of the Houston Cougars. And when I say this stadium is new, I mean that, as it was built in 2014. In college football, a new stadium being built is so rare, so congrats to Houston, because this stadium is a beauty. Holding around 40,000 and sporting a lower bowl with 3 decks of seats on one side of the field and about 4 or 5 on the other, it's not hard to tell that this stadium was built not too long ago, as it looks so futuristic. Also, the exterior is absolutely insane. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it in college football. And man, I wish this campus was a little closer to downtown, because the view of the skyline skyline from this stadium would go nuts, even though you do somewhat get a view from where it is now, but it's nothing crazy. As for the best game I've seen here, we have to go back to 2016 when the Cougars upset number 5 Louisville.
Can score and erupt, so they're not out of this game by any stretch.
That one was backwards, I think, and they're going to throw the ball. And a perfect delivery to Chance Allen. Off to the races. Touchdown.
Starting our top 10 off, we have a stadium that I really wanted to put higher, but I just couldn't because of the level of quality stadiums the Big 12 has. Anyway, I'm talking about Mountaineer Field, home of the West Virginia Mountaineers. This stadium can get nuts during a big game, especially when the stadium is sold out with 60,000 fans wearing yellow and blue. And I understand I said this in one of my other videos, that being that Oklahoma had my favorite iteration of the striped colors in the stands, but damn, West Virginia is a close second. That blue and gold goes absolutely crazy. As far as the stadium goes, we got a horseshoe design for the lower seats with an extra deck of seats on both sides of the 50-yard line. I also really like the chairback seats at one of the end zones. No cap, the exterior is lacking, but the vibes this stadium gives off on game day is my justification for having it at number 10. For the best game I've seen here, that was in 2018 when Will Greer and Kyler Murray put up over 100 points in a shootout.
And a man running free. It's Jennings again. It looks like an instant replay. Another long touchdown.
Coming up next, we have Jack Trice Stadium, home of the Iowa State Cyclones. Holding around 61,000 and being located in the middle of absolutely nowhere. I'm just kidding, don't hate me Cyclone fans. This stadium has grown a pretty sick reputation over the years, being known as a spot where playoff hopes go to die. I can't tell you how many teams have fell victim to this football palace in the Midwest. As for the design, it is pretty standard. We got a horseshoe with some upper deck seating, which looks nice, as well as some chairback seating in one of the end zones. And on the other side, a little area for the marching band with a grassy hill. Pretty cool if you ask me. And for the best game I've seen here, we go to 2018 when Brock Purdy and David Montgomery torched the 6th ranked West Virginia Mountaineers.
Greer looking long.
Short.
His receiver fell. It's incomplete. Or was it picked? It was.
It was big.
In 8th place, we have Jones AT&T Stadium, home of the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Holding just about 60,000 fans, this stadium really surprised me. I'm a huge fan of how the stadium is sunken into the ground, with that little bowl going around it, covering just about 75% of the stadium, leaving one of the end zones open. Also, for some reason, ever since I was a kid, I've always really liked the way the field turf looks at the stadium. I don't know what it is, but that red and black just looks so good on TV. But the main attraction for this stadium, to me, has to be the amazing exterior. Designed after Spanish Renaissance architecture, to fit in with the surrounding area, I have to tip my cap to the team who designed this because it looks stunning. Don't even ask me for the best game I've seen here. It's easily 2008 when Texas Tech upset number 1 Texas. Rest in peace, Mike Leach.
Second down now. Deep strike. Got the big man.
Next up, we have McLane Stadium, home of the Baylor Bears. And once again, we have another stadium in the Big 12 being built in 2014, making it one of the newer stadiums in college football. Man, what's up with all the new college football stadiums being built in Texas? Holding 45,000 at max capacity, I feel so bad for putting this stadium at number 7 because it is so freaking cool. A giant horseshoe with literally 3 decks, not to mention a covering over part of the stadium because Lord knows it gets hot in Waco. And to add on top of that, a view of a lake or river that you may see Pat McAfee jump in. If this does not show you the level of stadiums we're dealing with in the Big 12, then I don't know what will. For the best game I've seen here, it has to be in 2014 when it took 61 points to take down TCU.
Fourth quarter.
I said earlier Baylor might run 100 plays. That was number 100. Here's 101. Touchdown.
Coming in 6th place, we have Bill Snyder Stadium, home of the Kansas State Wildcats. I love this stadium and have for a long time now. Look at my profile pic if you couldn't tell. Holding about 52,000, this stadium does what it wants and I love it. You got like somewhat of a horseshoe design, maybe, with like end zone seating that barely connects to the other bleachers. Then you have a wall of seats with a couple decks above it on one side of the field. And on the other, you have layers and layers of box suites. Just beautiful. But the best part is the limestone castle. No Washington Capitals. Kansas State might have my favorite castle design in all of college football. And that really is saying something because there are so many. For the best game I've seen here, it has to be my old favorite Big 12 yearly tradition of Oklahoma traveling to Kansas State to get upset, specifically in the year 2019.
He gets the handoff and he gets a walk-in touchdown.
We are now entering some of the best stadiums in the country, hands down, and also some of the most scenic. Starting our top 5 off, we have Rice-Eccles Stadium, home of the Utah Utes, holding around 45,000. When this field was in the Pac-12, it was top 5, and now that it's in the Big 12, it's still top 5 to me. With the wall of seats on both sides of the field, with not much but just enough end zone seating, this stadium does an amazing job with the structure of the seating so that there isn't anything blocking the view of the main attraction of this stadium, besides the football team being the draw-dropping view of the mountains in the background. I have no clue what it is about college football and mountains, but they go together so well. This stadium is definitely one I would love to see in person sometime in my life. If there was one knock I had on the stadium, it would be the exterior, but that's just a very small gripe. For the best game I've seen here, it would have to be in 2022 when the Utes would upset number 7 ranked USC.
Rising up the middle. He's in. Utah leads.
Coming in 4th place, we have Amon Carter Stadium, home of the TCU Horned Frogs. In all honesty, I have no idea how this stadium only holds around 47,000. To me, just some regular dude who makes college football videos on the internet, this stadium looks like it holds at least 70,000. Anyway, I love how this stadium is put together. It is really unique with the lower bowl that wraps around the stadium, with one side of the field having 2 giant decks and on the other having I think 3 or 4. Not to mention the pretty fire end zone seating. I might be talking out my ass, but is this too much of a hot take to say that TCU might have one of the most underrated stadiums in all of college football? Let me know down below in the comments. Oh yeah, and I can't forget to mention the exterior. It's nothing super crazy like Kansas State, but it's not too shabby. For the best game I've seen here, let's go to 2014 when the Frogs upset number 4 Oklahoma.
Right in motion. Knight. Oh, picked off! Dawson, what a play! Paul Dawson, touchdown, Horned Frogs!
Starting our top 3 off, we have Lavell Edwards Stadium, home of the BYU Cougars. Now, I really know I'm not tripping, but how does this stadium hold around 64,000 when it does not, at least to the naked eye, look bigger than TCU Stadium? Am I tripping? Let me know. Anyway, besides that small gripe I have, this stadium is absolutely gorgeous. None of the 4 separate stands of seating connect, which is sweet. And I'm not 100% sure if you go to BYU or went to BYU, let me know down below in the comments. But I think the stadium is designed like that so it doesn't obstruct the view of the mountains near the stadium. Because let's be honest, that mountain is your moneymaker. No cap, BYU might have a top 3 view in all of college football, and you could put that view at number 1 and I wouldn't be mad at you at all. The exterior is alright, but you could literally remove the football field and this stadium would still be top 10. For the best game I've seen here, we have to go all the way back to 2003 when the Mormons would upset the Heathens over at Texas.
Hoffman at the bottom of the screen. Hill takes off again. He's in.
Okay, winning our silver medal award, we have probably one of my favorite OG Big 12 stadiums, Boone Pickens Stadium, home of the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Holding just around 55,000, I have already glazed this stadium to the point that Krispy Kreme wants to hire me personally to improve the donut recipe. Glaze aside, pause. This stadium's massive horseshoe design with walls and walls of seats are just so imposing. Now that I think about it, this stadium is like a smaller big house, just with one of the end zones cut off. But trust me, that end zone isn't cut off for no reason, as it connects to Oklahoma State's basketball arena, which is sick. I especially like how the giant scoreboard is attached to the outside of the basketball arena. It makes the stadium look like a giant movie theater to me. And finally, to finish my glazium opus of this stadium, I have to mention the awesome exterior. It's such a nice clean look, really lets you know you've entered a football holy land. For the best game I've seen here, we go to 2021 when the Polks took down their in-state rival.
Trying to catch the Sooner defense flat-footed and pushing the pile in for a touchdown. Warren gives Oklahoma State the lead back.
Alright, the moment we've all been waiting for, and if you made it this far and haven't liked or subscribed yet, I can't believe you would do something like that. I really thought we were locked in. Regardless, for the best stadium in the Big 12, in my opinion, would have to be without a doubt Folsom Field, home of the Colorado Buffaloes. Holding around 54,000, Deion Sanders could not have chosen a better spot to coach a football team. This stadium literally checks off all the boxes I have for college stadiums. The stands are, I don't even know what they have going on, but it looks great to be honest. The exterior is probably one of my favorite in all of college football. I mean, while it's simple, I don't think any other program's stadiums blends in as seamlessly as this one does to its surrounding buildings, and not to even mention the incredible view of the mountains. Easily number 1 for me. For the best game I've seen here, that would have to be last year when they beat Colorado State.
See 5 receivers. Sanders pulls. Got it. Touchdown. Nicolosi pulls it out on the slant. Horton with the catch.
The line has continued to try and protect better and better here in the second half.
Sanders open. There he is again. Touchdown, Harrison. Nicolosi steps up into the end zone in a crowd. No good. Picked off by Woods, and it's over.